I, 34 am, software analyst, married for 8 years, homeowner, the guy who packed lunches with notes and still believed showing up on time mattered. I look normal on paper. That's important later. The night everything started unraveling was a Tuesday. Nothing dramatic. I was reheating leftovers, scrolling my phone, waiting for my wife to come home. She'd texted earlier, running late, client dinner. She'd been running late a lot lately, but I didn't clock it as danger. I clocked it as adulthood. Her phone buzzed on the counter while I was wiping it down. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't curious. The screen lit up with a preview that didn't belong in my house. Can't stop thinking about last night. No name. Just a heart emoji. I didn't pick it up right away. I stood there longer than I should have, like the floor might explain it to me if I waited. When I finally grabbed the phone, the message was already gone. Notification cleared. Clean. Too clean. When she came in an hour later, heels in hand, hair different than when she left, she kissed my cheek and asked if I ate. I said yes. She said good. Then she showered. That was the moment. Not the text. Not the late dinner. The shower. She used to collapse on the couch and complain about her feet. That night, she went straight to the bathroom and locked the door. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I've always been slow when things feel important. I watch patterns first. Over the next 2 weeks, the pattern wrote itself. Phone face down. Password changed. Sudden interest in fitness. A new laugh she didn't use with me. She'd say things like, "You're overthinking," before I even said anything. One night I finally asked, calmly, "Are you seeing someone?" She didn't deny it. She smiled, like I'd asked the weather. "Why do you always jump to the worst conclusion?" she said. That answer told me everything. I didn't yell. I didn't plead. I said, "I need the truth." She sighed, sat down, crossed her legs, like this was a performance she'd rehearsed. "It just happened," she said. "I didn't plan it. And honestly, you've been distant. I work from home. I cook. I clean. I show up to family events. But somehow I was distant." I asked who it was. She said, "Someone from work. It's not serious." I asked how long. She paused, counted in her head. A few months. A few months is long enough to lie every day. I slept on the couch that night. Not out of respect. Out of clarity. I needed distance to think, and she needed to understand the ground had shifted. The next morning, she acted normal. Made coffee. Asked if I wanted eggs. When I said no, she looked annoyed, like I'd inconvenienced her routine. That's when entitlement showed up. Quiet at first. She started saying things like, "We're both adults, and monogamy is outdated." And my favorite, "You don't own me." I never said I did. A week later, she asked if I'd be open to redefining the marriage. Her words, redefining. She wanted me to stay, keep paying the mortgage, keep the stability, while she explored what made her feel alive. I told her no. That's when her tone changed. She started telling people I was controlling, that I'd checked her phone, that I was emotionally unavailable. My mother called me asking if everything was okay. My wife had gotten ahead of the story. I met with a lawyer the next day. Quiet office. Neutral walls. I brought bank statements. The mortgage, our prenup we'd signed before marriage. The lawyer didn't flinch when I said affair. He asked dates. Evidence. I had more than I realized. Here's the thing she didn't know yet. The guy from work? He wasn't just a coworker. He was her supervisor. And company policy was very clear about that. I didn't smile when I realized it. I planned. And while she thought she was rewriting the rules, I was preparing to end the game. By the time I stopped sleeping on the couch, the house didn't feel like a house anymore. It felt like neutral territory. We moved around each other carefully, like two people sharing a waiting room. She acted calm. Too calm. That fake calm people use when they think they're winning. She started pushing boundaries almost immediately. One evening she said, "If you're going to be distant, maybe you should stay with your mother for a while." Not a request. A suggestion dressed as concern. I asked, "Are you asking me to leave my own house?" She shrugged. "I just think space would help." "You're making this tense." The house was bought jointly. Mortgage in both our names. Down payment mostly mine, but I'd never thrown that in her face. She knew that, and now she was testing how much she could rewrite reality. I didn't move out. That irritated her. Next came the money games. Small at first. Groceries suddenly more expensive. A forgotten credit card charge. Then a bigger one. A weekend hotel bill she claimed was for a work retreat. The location didn't match any retreat schedule. I quietly downloaded the statements. Then she escalated. One night she said, "If you try to ruin my job over this, I'll tell everyone you're abusive." She said it casually, like she was reminding me to pick up milk. I looked at her and said, "Don't threaten me." She smiled. "I'm just being honest." That smile told me she thought I was trapped. Emotionally invested men make bad decisions. That's the stereotype. Cry, beg, lash out. Give the other person leverage. I didn't give her anything. Behind the scenes, I was collecting. Not illegally. Not secretly. Anything accessible to me. Anything shared in our home. Anything publicly visible. Dates. Times. Travel overlaps. Messages she'd accidentally left open on the tablet, synced to her phone. Company calendar entries. Expense reports. The lawyer had told me one thing very clearly. Do not confront until your position is solid. Meanwhile, she started rewriting our marriage in public. She told mutual friends we were basically separated. Told her mother I was emotionally cold. Told my father I was obsessed with work. Each version painted her as the patient one. The entitlement got louder. She asked if I'd be okay switching bedrooms permanently until things calmed down. Then asked if I could cover the full mortgage for a few months since her finances were tight. Then hinted that if we divorced, she'd want the house because stability matters. That last one almost made me laugh. She had no idea what stability actually looked like on paper. 3 weeks after the confession, she didn't come home at all. No text, no call, just silence. The next morning, she walked in like nothing happened. Tossed her keys on the counter. Asked if I'd fed the dog. I said, "Where were you?" She didn't miss a beat. "You don't get to interrogate me." I nodded. "Okay." That response confused her. She expected a fight. Instead, I disengaged. That night, while she slept, her phone lit up again. This time, she didn't hear it. The screen stayed on long enough for me to read the sender's name. Her supervisor. Not saved under a nickname. Not hidden anymore. That told me something else had shifted. They were getting careless. The messages weren't explicit. They didn't need to be. Dates. Inside jokes. Complaints about HR policies being so outdated. Plans for an upcoming conference out of state. Same hotel. Different rooms on paper. I photographed the screen. One image. Clean. Timestamp visible. The next day, I forwarded everything I had to my lawyer. He replied with one sentence. "This is enough." Here's what people don't understand about workplace relationships in the U.S. It's not illegal to sleep with your coworker. But when power is involved, when reporting lines exist, when benefits, evaluations, or promotions can be influenced, companies don't play games, especially publicly traded ones. And her company was very clear in its code of conduct. I waited another week. Let them dig deeper. Let the evidence mature. Let her feel comfortable. She started talking about moving in together eventually. Not with me. With him. She didn't say it directly, but she didn't need to. She started asking questions about refinancing. About equity. About timelines. She was planning her exit while standing in my kitchen. So I chose my moment. I filed for divorce first. No warning. Papers served at her office. Not to embarrass her. That's just how scheduling worked out. Clean. Legal. Calm. She called me screaming from the parking lot. "You did this on purpose," she said. "You're trying to humiliate me." I said, "I'm just following procedure." She hung up. That afternoon, my lawyer submitted a formal complaint to her company's compliance department. Not anonymous. Documented. Professional. Supported by evidence. No emotion. No commentary. Just facts. And then I waited. Because the quiet after you drop the truth is always louder than the explosion. Part 2 gets darker. Subscribe to the channel for know what happens next, and share the video with your known persons.